What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. We're your hosts, Cohn and Eric Crocker. Name of the show today is Have the Niners Made Themselves Super Bowl favorites throughout this offseason? I feel like that's what fans want and what media people expect. You went to the NFC title game. Can you go over the hump? That's what we're going to be talking about today. First, though, let's start with Deshaun Watson because we haven't talked about him in a while. Yeah. So the news with him, Croc, is that he would basically have to tell Houston, that's the only place I want to go, the Niners. And Houston would have to say, we want Trey Lance. That's why it seems like while there may be mutual interest between the Niners and Watson, it's a long shot. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. It's next to no chance, right? I mean, you talked about Houston having to want, Trey Lance and things like that. But also, the 49ers have to have the capital to be able to give to Houston to make it make sense. So I don't think that it makes any sense from that standpoint. But also just kind of a little birdie that I have, a.k.a. my guy John Harris. He comes on my Locked On Draft podcast every Tuesday. It drops on Wednesday. But he reports for Houston. Like, he's a beat writer, sideline reporter, radio show, all that stuff. And from his intel is they really like Davis Mills. So, like, why? And we get it. Maybe, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, all these guys were better prospects coming out. But from what they've seen from Davis Mills, like, no, we don't want to move on from him, from these other guys, because we think he played just as good, if not better, than these guys in one of the worst situations. So, I mean, they don't want Trey Lance. 49ers don't have the draft capital. I don't think there's any way that trade is even possible.
Yeah, again, it would only be possible if Watson said, hey, Houston, figure it out. I'm going to the 49ers. That's the only team that makes sense. But it's not going that way because the Niners are like, they're not even acknowledging their interest in Watson. They're like, look, we got to do this on the down low for this to even happen. And we got teams like New Orleans who are hot and heavy, right in his face, meeting with him multiple times, saying, we want you. We've been with you. We've supported you through this entire thing. Atlanta too. So it seems like Watson, while he's interested in the Niners, there's other places too. And if that's the case, the Niners pretty much have no leverage here.
Well, also, there was a thing that came out. I think it was Diana Rossini. She came out and she said, all the teams that were interested, like, just to have a meeting, because that's what the report was initially. 49ers have a meeting with Deshaun Watson. To even have a meeting, you had to already offer something. The Texans had to approve the offer just for you to be able to sit down and have a meeting with Deshaun Watson. So, I don't think it's – I think it's a media-driven thing with the 49ers, clicks, interaction, whatever it is. 49ers, and it's not just now with Trey Lance. I mean, this is going back to even after the 49ers won the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, and the offseason after that, there were all kinds of discussions about the 49ers and the quarterback. I never understood it then. I don't understand it now. Only thing I think of is good content for those guys.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is probably from their perspective, as Jim Trotter laid out so eloquently. Yeah, they like Deshaun Watson. Who wouldn't want Deshaun Watson? Maybe the Chiefs and the Bills.
How many teams in the NFL would say, you know what, we would, without a doubt, all things being equal, we would take Deshaun Watson we would take our quarterback over Deshaun Watson. All things being equal, you don't got to trade for him. You have your quarterback. You have a choice to get Deshaun Watson. How many teams would turn him down?
2, 3.
So, of course, the mutual interest would be there for anyone.
Of course. But what Trotter said is basically the Niners can't get him unless Watson did this and this and this and this. And he's not doing that. He seems quite interested in the Saints. And frankly, wouldn't you be if you were Deshaun Watson? That's a great landing spot.
Yeah, maybe that gets Mike Thomas tuned back in. He's kind of checked out a little bit. And that's a guy who caught 140-something passes. Yeah, he caught 140-something passes just like a year ago. Missed all the last year. He's kind of, some self-inflicted stuff going on. But I think having a guy like Deshaun Watson going in there might change things just a little bit for Mike Thomas.
And it wouldn't just be fitting that if the Niners interested in Deshaun Watson couldn't get it done, he goes to the Saints, they win the Super Bowl. Doesn't that always happen? It's like they were interested in Tom Brady, didn't pull the trigger, goes to Tampa Bay, wins the Super Bowl. Interested in Matthew Stafford, ultimately didn't get it done, goes to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl. That's the thing with Watson. He's that good that if you don't show interest and he goes to some other team, that team can win the Super Bowl that year. So you better at least be at the table.
You got to go all in. You got to go all in on Trey Lance and putting all the pieces around. At the very least, you are headed in the right direction. You feel confident with that. And maybe it doesn't happen this year, but maybe next year or the year after that, 49ers end up in the Super Bowl with a guy like Trey Lance. But you got to start that now, instilling the confidence in your young guy, because everything coming out right now, everyone in the media thinks you don't have confidence in him.
That's right. You think Bobby is waiting for Jimmy to be moved? Bobby Wagner.
No, he's waiting for someone to give him a good deal.
Yeah, he's trying to. That would take him out of the market entirely if he waited that long. Mark F says Lynch and company don't know how to trade or the value of a player. Let Mullins walk for a first. Just a first for Buckner, going to miss a trade for Jimmy. Yeah, there was a report that they could have got something for Mullins the year before, then they let him walk. Also, what they got for Buckner,
Mullins or Beathard, I think it was Mullins or Beathard. They could have moved one of those guys, and they're like, "No, we got 3 quarterbacks. We like that." Yeah, they kind of overplayed their hand with that one.
Absolutely. And then Buckner, you drafted him 7th. You traded him for like the 14th pick. He only got better. That was weird to me. But anyway,
I think that was a good trade.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of like if you have to lose a guy like that, like what the pick is. Like think about it like this: 49ers traded with Miami, right? And they swapped picks. They got that 12th pick or whatever. Well, the 2 future picks, Miami didn't know what there was going to be. It turns out it's a 29th overall pick.
Good point.
There's not much value there.
Good point.
As opposed to the Buckner pick, like you knew it was a 13th overall pick. You not only got the 13th pick, but you got the 13th. You moved that money off your, so you could do some different things, sign other guys. Now, was it worth it? Like that's the question. But I'd say in the sense of it being kind of the right move, I get it. That was different than what we're seeing from these quarterbacks, how they've handled quarterbacks.
Fair. Double B Studio says the only way this trade would work, a Watson trade, is if the Niners gave up star players and the best masseuse. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's that joke going around. All right. Man, that's dark. I would have to say I don't think Houston's interested. I think they want draft picks. I think they made it pretty clear. They want 3 first-round picks. They want 3 first-round picks. The Niners don't have 3 first-round picks to offer. They have Lance. And Houston's going to say, yeah, great. We like Davis Mills. And from their perspective, like they've seen Davis Mills. They've invested in Davis Mills. They haven't seen anything with Trey Lance. So even if they like the idea.
Well, they saw him in person. I mean, he was.
Yeah, it's true. They did see him that one time. He did kind of dice him up.
I don't think. I think if you want to take a positive and project, it's like, well, this was only his 2nd start, as opposed to Mills. It took a little while for him to get going. Once he got going, he had some big games against some big opponents. Huge game against New England Patriots, where he threw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he's had some good games where they're like, no, we like what we got here.
He reminded me of like Jimmy Garoppolo with some mobility and not afraid to throw down the field, which is actually a good quarterback. That's a good quarterback. Yeah. All right. Reading on Twitter this morning, Jeff Schwartz used to be in the league. Analyst says if Deshaun Watson goes to the Falcons, and they seem to be one of the finalists, that he could see the 49ers or the Colts trading for Matt Ryan. I see the logic. I mean, Kyle has worked with Matt Ryan in the past. The Colts do go after old washed up quarterbacks every year. So I could see it, but at the same time, it makes me want to throw up. What do you think?
I think it clearly makes more sense for the Colts right now. Now, I could, like you, I can understand tying in the 49ers, a test situation. Matt Ryan had, great years with the 49ers, and he had great years before. I mean, with Kyle Shanahan. He had great years before Shanahan, but he had, an amazing year with Shanahan. Really, both years from a statistical standpoint, plus production there. But he's old now. I don't know if he's washed or if Atlanta's offensive line was just that bad and there was no weapons. Maybe a guy like Kyle Shanahan would be intrigued because it's like, well, that was a terrible situation in that coordinator over there. That's not me. We all know Kyle has an ego. So, I could see it potentially happen. But again, you gotta have more confidence in your young quarterback and that he's developing the right way, and not just move on from him with any quarterback that can be a slight upgrade from what we know Trey Lance is right now.
Yeah, when you draft a quarterback, when you trade up for Trey Lance, you're thinking you're gonna surround him with the best team possible. That's what you do with young quarterbacks.
You've been preaching something for years.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. Like once teams get off of that rookie contract, like unless you're Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, you ain't really winning championships. Like it's really hard. So it's like right now is the time for the 49ers. And you talked about it for years now.
Yes.
Load up around the young guy. That was why I was big on, I thought last year, let Jimmy walk. Let him go.
Yes.
Because now you can roll over that $25 million from last year, and then you add that $27 million. You're talking about $50 million, $50+ million of cap space just within that. And the good thing in that your quarterback gets a lot of experience being able to play, work through his ups and downs, and be better suited for it this year. Not just him, but the overall team, because now you can put more resources to just loading up, and they've kind of mishandled that as well. No, I don't want to say mishandled it. They went to an NFC championship game. So there's a positive there. So, I mean, like, that was the best case scenario was that, whereas, like, hey, we went to playoffs.
Hold on. I would say that they cost themselves a Super Bowl appearance. Like, think about it.
Potentially.
I think they did. We can't prove it, but if Jimmy Garoppolo, he wasn't a big factor in why they got as far as they did, in my opinion. Right. In my opinion. And if you had taken him off the team, put Lance in there, it wouldn't just be 1-for-1. It'd be Lance plus $25 million in cap space that you could have put to use around multiple players, impact players. The team around the quarterback would have been better with Lance. And Lance himself might have been better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I really feel like the Niners could have gone to the Super Bowl last year, and they should be making moves to make themselves a Super Bowl favorite right now. And Matt Ryan doesn't do that. Matt Ryan does not. If the Niners trade for Matt Ryan and keep Trey Lance and get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, there's still like I don't know, 5 teams I think have a better chance to win the Super Bowl than the Niners. It's not the move. It's not the move. It's not the move. I'm sorry. But good idea. Good try, Jeff Schwartz. The longer the Niners keep Jimmy, the less they can do in free agency. $9 million space currently. 8.5 needed to sign 10 Niner draft picks. They need the space. I agree. So let's talk about it. Eric, will Jimmy Garoppolo be the downfall of John Lynch? And what I mean is, it seems like he's becoming obsessive in his chase to win this trade when the goal is to win the Super Bowl. And the longer he waits, the less time he has to use the cap space that could help them win the Super Bowl. They didn't use it last year. They're not using it now. Is this going to be the downfall of John Lynch, who's had a very good tenure so far?
I like that you said the obsession with him, because if you go back 2017, it was Lynch that wanted to trade for him. Remember, Shanahan, his guy was Cousins. That was who he wanted, and he was sick when the trade had to go down. So I don't know if this is Lynch just trying to cover all his bases and make it seem like a better trade. So, I mean, which it was a good trade. 49ers went to 2 NFC championships and the Super Bowl. You know, so it's like, dude, that's the win. Like you won there. You used a second round pick on them, some money, whatever, but you won from that standpoint. You are a relevant team. Now, just cut your losses, and whatever happens from here on, just move on. And I do think him trying to hang around and things like that, again, we're talking about the team that you're able to put around him. Hey, maybe you were more willing to spend an extra $2 million if you just had that money sitting there for a guy like J.C. Jackson as opposed to Travarius Ward, who I think Travarius Ward, solid player, but he ain't J.C. Jackson. No. Right? So, maybe you could have went and put a little bit more money towards Chandler Jones, who it was down to the 49ers and Raiders. Chandler Jones ended up going to the Raiders. A little bit extra money that you have, and you can see it in your account. Maybe you're more willing to go after or all in on Chandler Jones. So, I do think this is, I don't want to say it's the downfall, because I think regardless, 49ers have shown, hey, we'll figure it out and we'll be in a potential to win. But I think the team definitely, you could be doing a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about, I guess, his legacy or his standing as a GM. He's right on the cusp of greatness, man. He's right on the cusp of creating a Super Bowl team from scratch. But I feel like he's getting away from his goal. It's like his white whale. It's like Moby Dick. Like, dude, you're blowing it right now, because what you're doing is you're insisting on above market value for Jimmy Garoppolo. The league is telling you what he's worth. Just take it. Move on. Get the cap space. Build around Trey Lance, win the Super Bowl. But he's
the league. The 49ers don't believe what the league is saying. Clearly, not just from John Lynch to Shanahan to, I think Shanahan knows, but from John Lynch to the players, Deebo, Kittle, all those guys, they don't believe. It's like, no, we know who he is inside this locker room, where everyone else is saying, like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Yeah, he's not. No, we're not giving up. Y'all want 2 second-round picks? Like, no, we don't want to give you that unless we just desperately have to. Right. So, yeah.
And it's my hypothesis that first of all, they should have made this trade as soon as they should have traded Jimmy Garoppolo and created the cap space as soon as they got Trey Lance. By not doing it last year, I believe it cost them a Super Bowl appearance. We'll never be able to prove it. If they do it again this year, it's going to cost them another one. If Jimmy Garoppolo is on this team, I'm predicting today, March 17th, they're not going to the Super Bowl. They could be really good. They could win some playoff games. That's just my prediction. So, John, do the right thing here. Do the right thing.
But even then, you talk about they could win some playoff games, and I don't want to diminish Jimmy Garoppolo and what he's done with the 49ers. I think he, he brought the 49ers out of a dark place, right? A really dark place. But when you look at the playoff performances, it's not. I don't know if you could say, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's him. The Vikings game, they stopped throwing the ball because he kept trying to turn it over.
It's true.
The Packers game, they only had to put the ball in the air 8 times total.
Yeah.
This year, the Cowboys game, he tried to give it away. And the game where you should be blowing the team out, he left them back in it. And really, he was a bad throw to George Kittle where he threw it into the dirt away from it being like a disastrous second half. And then
also
the Packers
missed
game,
Ayuk, which that would have put the game away when he missed Ayuk wide open down the field.
And then the Packers game where, it was like a blocked punt was the reason why. So I'm not trying to diminish like his role with the 49ers, but when you say, well, they're going to win playoff games, if you look at how they've had to win playoff games with him at quarterback, I think that's a little bit less than ideal.
I'm with you on that. It's like they could win playoff games if Deebo Samuel is Superman again. Double B Studio says, why can't Lynch think like you guys? I don't know, man. He is a very smart person, but he's laser focused on this Jimmy thing, and he needs to let it go. Because I know he's worried about his resume. Oh, I traded a 2 for him. I'm only going to take a 4 back for him. Doesn't matter. If you win the Super Bowl this year, no one's going to care what you got for Jimmy Garoppolo. Or what? I'm just saying.
Right.
Official BNA Music 88 says, shake my head. Juicy Smollett got released before Jimmy did. Juicy Smollett.
Jesse. Yeah.
His sister was in Friday Night Lights. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
She was in it with Michael B. Jordan in the last couple seasons. Anyway.
He was supposed to do 90 days, or 30 days or something like that. So he didn't do 30 days.
That's all. I'm surprised he had to go to jail at all. Like, I guess it's bad to lie about that, but damn, like nothing happened. But he had to go to jail. Apparently, nothing happened. Daniel says, is Casey Hayward Jr. available for us? Well, he's a nickel. What do you think, Casey Hayward?
No, he's an outside guy. He's an outside guy. Yeah, he's good too. I think at this point, 49er fans probably are looking for depth at the cornerback position. I think they kind of have it, right? Like, because, again, you kind of look at, you got Ward, you got Mosley, and then behind them is like, well, you got Ambry Thomas, who's played a good amount, and then you got Deommodore Lenoir. He can play in a pinch. Yeah. Maybe not as ideal, but I don't know if you go out and pay Casey Hayward just to kind of be a third corner lingering around when he wants to go start somewhere.
That's true. Dave Chappelle's so evil. Like, I don't even know how to pronounce Jesse's name. Like, to me, it's just Juicy. He is Juicy from now. Probably to most Americans. They think, oh, yeah, that's Juicy Small. Yeah, I remember. He's French, right? Damn, Dave. He ruined that. Mark F says, do we all look stupid if Lynch holds on to Jimmy and he hands the ball off to Deebo to another Super Bowl? To another Super Bowl. Which Super Bowl? To have the Niners won with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think it means like to it, like getting to it.
Do we all look stupid? I mean, I guess we almost look stupid this year. I did, but they didn't make it. So here I am. Talking crap. All right, moving on. This is the topic.
I don't know. Hold on, real quick. I don't know if you look stupid. I think everybody, if you're watching the game, you understand that it's more Deebo than Jimmy. So it's not like a knock. Now, if Jimmy just throws for 300 yards a game and it's clear he's the reason why, then yeah, a lot of people would feel stupid.
Yeah. Okay. But that's not gonna happen. All right. Here's the topic of the show. What the Niners have to do this offseason to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. Maybe you think you watching at home, you think the Niners are Super Bowl favorites right now. In Vegas, I think they have the 6th best odds. They were in the NFC title game last year. It seems like they're 1 or 2 moves away from being that team. The team that everyone says is going to win, the team that will win. I don't think they're there yet. What do you think they need to do to become that team?
Give unwavering confidence in Trey Lance.
Agree. That's a great start.
How
do you do that?
He's our guy. You
got to get rid of Jimmy now.
You get rid of Jimmy. Now. It's your locker room.
Yep.
You got to get Jimmy. Because as long as Jimmy's there, it ain't Trey's locker room.
Nope.
Well, and that's clear, right, with how the players speak out about him. So you got to get rid of him.
The Niners haven't done step 1 yet. I'm sorry.
They have not done step 1.
They have to do step 1.
Yeah. So the step 2 would be the unwavering confidence in, all right, Trey, you are our guy, and we're going to build everything around you. And this is your offseason. And if they even if they don't sign anyone else, another free agent or whatever, but they instill that level of confidence in Trey Lance that, hey, we're going to ride with your ups and downs. We're going to ride with every step of the way. That's when you'll get like the most out of your guy. And I think that will ultimately be like, if they can get to the Super Bowl, it's going to be that aspect of it.
I'm with you, but hold on. Step 3 is to use the cap space that you're creating with Jimmy Garoppolo. Go all in. Don't hold on to $25 million and say we'll use it next year. You got to win. You're trying to win the Super Bowl this year. So I would say step 3, use the cap space. Sign some people. And step 4 to me would be sign impact players. Take big swings. You're trying to win the Super Bowl. No more like this is a team-friendly deal, or this was a good bar. This was a good price for the no. What you're trying to do right now is 1 or 2 moves. That's a big splurge signing that puts you over the top. And God love Travarius Ward. I don't think he's that. So that's to me.
You're looking at like a Belichick. You know what? I want to win. I'm going out and getting Darrelle Revis.
Yes, I mean the last 2 Super Bowl winners have made big time moves in free agency the year before they won. Bucks, Rams, it's what they do. I think the Niners could do it. That's what I would do. And it wouldn't just be like more of the same. Like they need specific things. They need a playmaker in the secondary with ball skills at safety. They need a deep threat with good hands who can catch the freaking ball when Trey Lance throws it down the field. And they need a returner who can score. If they could get those 3 things.
All right, so here's 2 guys I think could definitely help that.
Yeah.
Talking about Tyrann Mathieu.
Yes.
Definitely can help in the secondary at safety. Throw him some money. And then maybe a guy like Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Now, you said good hands. His hands are a little inconsistent, but he definitely has that big play ability to stretch the field from outside slot. Like, here's a big play waiting to happen. And, Valdes-Scantling, you don't have to be wide receiver 1 or 2 here, or wide receiver 2. Adams is wide receiver 1. But you don't have to be wide receiver 2. We got 3 other guys that we can depend on. We just need you to be good in this aspect of your game. Take a little pressure off of him. Come through whenever we throw it downfield. And I think right away, at least that fixes 2 of the 3 things that you were talking about.
They could get a returner in the draft. I mean, if I'm hearing this Marcus Jones guy, the nickel's a good returner too. They could get him. Boom, there you go. And now you got 3 things that you don't already have on your team. Don't spend like $25 million on more of the same. Like, don't get another corner with length and a good tackle.
Jakeem Grant. What do you think about Jakeem Grant? So Grant. So you go with Grant, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and Tyrann Mathieu. And just that alone. Now, we'll see what happens with the offensive line. But you would feel a lot more confident about where the 49ers are as an overall team if that happens. If those are the moves they make from here on out.
I would think the Niners would be legitimate. I mean, you could say they're already Super Bowl contenders. You could say that they're might be the best team in the league, depending on how Trey Lance plays in that rookie year. Yeah, I like that. All right, so we just laid it out. John, are you taking notes, or are you still trying to trade Jimmy? What are you doing? All right, so Tom Compton's gone. He signed with Denver. Boy, good luck, Russell Wilson. So the Niners won a lot of games with him. Good run blocker, not particularly great in pass protection. He's one of these like 290 pounds offensive tackles. That being said, though, they did win a lot of games with Tom Compton, and we don't know what's going on with Mike McGlinchey. Why do you think the Niners didn't re-sign Tom? Too expensive?
Well, I think they probably maybe view him as a guy that they can replace, right? Okay. I mean, he was kind of in the competition with Jalen Moore. So maybe they feel like, all right, Moore, like now it's all on you to just take that next step. But maybe they didn't see as much of a difference between Moore and Compton to bring back Compton on money when you have a rookie Ward in that contract. I mean, Moore on that rookie contract.
Yeah. What's crazy to me, I feel like the Niners are – remember last year, they didn't trust any rookies. None. But this year, it's like, oh, we don't need Compton. We have Jalen Moore. What did Jalen Moore show you at right tackle? Oh, we don't need Tomlinson. We have Aaron Banks. You didn't trust Aaron Banks last year. All of a sudden, it's like all the young guys are good. Like,
oh, yeah. No, see, it ain't that. Even with Tomlinson, I think they just got priced out. Like, they maybe had a number like, all right, we'll give him $10 million.
Yes.
But, I mean, when you start going up to $14 million.
Yes.
Now, I know Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe you're more willing to spend that extra $4 million because you just see it. Especially if they would have got rid of Jimmy last year, because we're talking about rolling over. Now you're talking about over $50 million that you create just from not having Jimmy. Now, all right, we'll pay Compton a little money to be, some insurance at tackle. We'll pay Tomlinson
the
$14 million he wants. You're not going to care. Yeah,
because I'm sure Tomlinson got overpaid, but the Niners can say we didn't give out any bad contracts in free agency. But it's hard to say that it's hard for them to say they got better in free agency. I mean, they got a nice corner. They downgraded at strong safety, at safety until they get Matthew, or they downgraded at nickelback until they bring back K. Warner. They downgraded at nose tackle, downgraded at guard. Like, why? You're this close to being the best team in the league, and you're like kind of treading water at best? That's weak. Come on, John. We could do better. Eric and I can do better. Step your game up. Calling you out. Jerome says, with the way things are playing out, I'm jumping on the jackhammer bandwagon. Jimmy Garoppolo straight up for Christian McCaffrey. No, I don't like it. Not for me. Guy can't stay healthy. Same reason I don't want Kittle. Same freaking reason. No. No.
Yeah. I mean, but you're talking about going all in, and I get it, the inability to stay healthy. But if you're talking about, I mean, because would you today to free up Jimmy's money, would you flat out cut him?
Yeah. I think no, because you get more if you trade him, and I think there's.
I mean, but what more? They're telling
Huh?
you right now that the market for him isn't very good.
If it's a 5th round pick, I'd take the 5th. But if there's nothing, I would cut him.
You take Jimmy in the 5th over Jimmy and Christian McCaffrey?
I would rather trade Jimmy. No, because McCaffrey is expensive. Now you've got all this cap space tied up in him. I don't want that.
Well, we're going all in this year. You can figure it out.
What
You
if he
can let
only
him
plays
go.
4 games? It's like, damn, what if he's your
Then
next
you go with
D4?
Elijah Mitchell. Then you got Elijah Mitchell and
Hey,
everybody else.
if you tell me he can play 17 games, and hell yeah, he's great. Otherwise, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. We'll see what happens. G's the $90 eighth is still on the everyone calls Jimmy Garoppolo the $90 eighth. I don't know if you understand the reference, but that's what we call him here. You got to love that former athlete doesn't know what we're talking about. It's all right. Just cut the bum. Tired of this.
Oh, I mean, I think I get the reference, but
you think you get it.
Yeah. I don't.
Nah, exactly. Me neither. Irfan says, do you think Trent Baalke screwed the Niners negotiations with Deebo by overpaying for Kirk? What do you think? Did they mess with the market? What did Kirk get? Let me see.
It was up to $84 million on like 3-4 years.
Okay. Why? Hold on. So he's getting
it's like 70 something, but
$18 million a year. Damn. Wow.
All right. It can be 84. It can be over that. Like if he hits all his incentives, it's up to like 4 years, 84 with all his incentives being hit.
More expensive than George Kittle. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like, look at his cap. His cap number is going to be 21.5 for 3 years in a row after this upcoming year. So yeah, in a sense, Deebo could be like, well, I'm going to need to be above 21.5, or at least that's what his agent could say. That's the market. Thank you, Trent. Damn, Trent.
Yeah.
Trent
now
really
the 49ers could counter with, well, you've only had 1 year of better production than Christian Kirk.
Ooh. Deebo, do you hear that? 1 year better production. That's rough.
Nah, don't block me, Deebo. Don't block me.
He'll know what he'll do. He'll make a motivational video where like Eric Crocker said I was only 1 year better than Christian Kirk. Yeah, that's right.
You're better than him. I'm just saying, if I'm the 49ers and I have to like argue as to why, I'm not giving you that much more money, like that would be why. Well, do it another year and there probably won't be that issue, but he has to get paid this offseason, so you don't get that opportunity. Christian Kirk has been like fairly productive, nothing like Deebo. I mean, fairly Deebo consistent. Doubled his numbers 1 year. Right. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think the argument could be, well, it was 1 year. If I'm 49ers, that's how I argue.
Yeah. Sean says maybe the Niners just like Trey Lance. I'm just saying, move forward with your plan, wifey material or one night stand, easy peasy. If what Eric and I are saying though is if they really like Trey Lance, commit to him, make the statement, get Jimmy off the team, and build around Trey. They haven't done it yet, so it's fair to wonder.
And maybe that'll quiet down the speculation from the outsiders.
Yeah. Jay says, do y'all think the Niners are keeping Jimmy because they don't have faith in Trey Lance? Just a thought. I mean, that's what they're projecting until they make the move. So if that's not the case, then show us.
I don't think so. I think it's just John Lynch trying to win the trade.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Kyle has confidence in Trey Lance. This is a John Lynch thing. So good question. Good answer. All right. Next topic. Trent Sherfield gone to the Miami Dolphins. Again, I don't think he's expensive. The Niners brought him in to boost their special teams, which has been bad, and now he's gone. Why do you think they didn't bring him back?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with money. One thing about like NFL players, they don't make as much money as you think.
True.
You know, like you could take their contract and maybe Trent Sherfield last year, not to count his pockets, but let's say maybe he signed a 1 year, vet minimum for what he was, $800,000. Well, half of that is gone, because of taxes and stuff. And then you got agent fees. Then you have expenses, your home, living in the Bay Area. You're probably responsible for all of your family's expenses, your wife, your kid, all those things, maybe flying other people in. The money doesn't go as far as you think. So if somebody is willing to pay me even $1 million more, I got to take that. I got to take that. Unless you've had like big contracts. That's why you'll hear some people say, well, it's not about the money with me. Well, yeah, because you've already made $40 million. But for most of these guys that make up the NFL, they make minimum salaries pretty much every year. And even fans, I know they'll, $1 million. Like, it's $1 million isn't life changing when you pay taxes on that and you have all these expenses. Now, if you're somebody that just wins the lottery and you have a like a low life, you don't have all kind of expenses, and you win the lottery $2 million, and then you want to do something with that, great. But these guys, they have a lot of people kind of depending on them to help, so that money doesn't go as far. So if I'm Mostert, if I'm Trent Sherfield, if I'm any of those guys that left Lincoln Tomlinson, I need to get all my money.
Yes. And what's interesting with Trent Sherfield, I think he felt he was going to get an opportunity to play wide receiver on the Niners, and it didn't materialize. And I think he's at that age where he's got to push for it. If he doesn't push for it now, he'll never be a wide receiver. He'll always be a special teams guy, won't make that much money, be out of the league. So maybe he feels he knows Mike McDaniel. Maybe Mike McDaniel said, I'll give you an opportunity to play wide receiver here. Although Tua is not going to push the ball down the field to him. I don't know. Good luck to him. That's the only thing I can think is that he wants a bigger opportunity. He's not going to get it here.
Listening to a lot of Dolphins fans, their big issue with Tua is not so much Tua, it's the offensive line. I guess they have like the worst offensive line in the NFL. So they didn't really have time to push the ball down the field. I know when he was completely healthy at Alabama, he definitely was pushing the ball down the field. He was confident with doing that, and it kind of changed when they got to Miami. I don't know if it was the hip injury. How much better is he now as opposed to right after it? But there, potential for Trent Sherfield. Who's their receivers outside of Waddle?
I don't even know.
Parker, maybe. I don't even know if Devontae Parker's still there. I don't know. So there could be a scenario where he carves out a role for himself.
Last thing on Trent Sherfield. So he rejoins Mike McDaniel along with Raheem Mostert and Wes Welker and all these guys. It reminds me a lot of what Kyle did in 2017. Remember when Kyle came here, he brought in a bunch of people.
Robinson, Pierre Garçon.
And what's funny is like very few of them worked out. And Kyle stopped doing that pretty quickly. It's like, I'm not a coordinator anymore. I'm a head coach. I can develop I'm going to be here a long time. I'm not going to be here for 2 years. It's something you do when you're a little nervous. Like, I don't know.
Well, that initial offseason.
Yeah.
But before you get a chance to draft the George Kittle, draft the DJ Jones, even the Keller Witherspoon, he started for some years. Like before you get a chance to draft those guys, you got to go through that first wave of free agency. So you get guys in that can help implement the structure, what you're expecting, guys that understand it, know what they can teach to other guys, or the rookies that you eventually are going to have take their place. And then, in a few years, all right, Trent Sherfield, all you guys, y'all can walk.
Also, they can vouch for McDaniel in the locker room. So when these players that don't know McDaniel and hear him for the first time and see him, they're like, yo, what the hell is this? Like,
it's a little interesting.
It's a little weird. And most would be like, no. He's a genius. And I'm sure that there may have been some reaction to that to Kyle Shanahan when he became the Niners head coach at 37. And he walks in. Some people are like, who? They're like, no. Like Pierre goes like, dude, you have no idea. This guy is the smartest coach I've ever worked for. So I think it probably helps.
I think it was easier for him though, because he was coming up. Atlanta had a special year, and it was like everybody knew Kyle Shanahan. Where as opposed to, McDaniel, nobody even knows what he does. Okay, good designs, good run. Like he ain't call plays. Like you don't hear him talk. Well, and then when you finally did hear him talk, it comes off a little interesting.
It does. Not in a bad way. But some people might be like, this is like no coach I've ever had. And it probably would help for some people in the locker room to be like, no, you got to trust him. Trust me on this one. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to work, though. I don't know how long Sherfield and Mostert are going to be in Miami. Didn't work out for Kyle and Pierre Garçon and Alfred Morris and Alden Robinson. Moisha says, Grant, why are you so keen on Watson? He was top flight, but he's been through an ordeal. There's no guarantee he will be as good. Mindset is everything. Probably the same reason the Saints are and the Falcons are, and every freaking team wants this guy.
The Browns.
Every freaking team wants. How many quarterbacks are better than him? All things considered.
I'd say, if take out the outside incident and you're just going off of just talent and what he's done, what he's been, you'd say there were people debating him or Watson. Him or Mahomes. Right. So he's kind of in that realm. So you got Josh Allen, you got him, you got Mahomes, like they're all in that tier. Then maybe you could throw Justin Herbert based off of what he looks like, and Joe Burrow, but they're all in that same like young stars, talent, like lead your team, like that type of guy.
Yeah. If there's a top tier quarterbacks, Watson's in it. Mark says if they trade Jimmy, could they use that money to get Teron Armstead and put him at right tackle and trade McGlinchey? Who's trading for McGlinchey right now?
Yeah, I was going to ask that same question.
McGlinchey's the new D Ford on offense until
he's trying to put them in a bad scenario because you don't know. Again, he tore his quad off the bone or whatever he did, and how is he going to recover from that? I saw a stat that said 50% of the people are able to play again when something like that happens. So it's a serious injury. You don't know where he's at. I mean, they'll know more about it. Talk about the medicals, but how do you prepare for that? Because you don't bring somebody in and pay someone to play over him. I think you bring someone in as more insurance. I don't know if that's Teron Armstead. You got to pay him a little more.
Sean says when agents pull the Don Yee, does it fracture relationships with the organization moving forward, maybe influencing what free agents get a look? I could think so. I could feel like the Niners think Don Yee screwed him over, but Don Yee doesn't have very many clients. He's very picky and choosy. So I don't know if this is going to hurt Don Yee. I don't know.
It's a business too, and everybody understands the business aspect of it. All agents understand that. And the agents, I mean, they're in it for themselves too. Like they got it. That's how they make their living. They want that percentage. And the more certain it is, or having Jimmy go to a more ideal position makes him money down the line. Jimmy got to restructure his contract. So that's important for Don Yee too, to have him in an advantageous situation.
All right, Gizmo Maltese says, what can the Niners do to improve their O-line? Let me take a stab at this one. Trade Jimmy Garoppolo, create $25 million in cap space, sign a guard, sign a tackle. How about that? I'm just
again, the tackle part is hard because McGlinchey. Yep. But definitely if you can shore up that guard spot. But now you got two guards. So you for sure need one.
Uh-huh.
You for sure need to sign one guy where it's like, this is a legit starting NFL guard. And then we'll see what happens with Aaron Banks or Moore or whoever else battles out for the other guard spot.
Revenge asked Jimmy to the Browns. Do you think that's where he ends up?
I don't know, man. I mean, it changes every day. We got to wait to see what happens with Deshaun Watson. If Watson goes to the Falcons, then Matt Ryan is available. Then what happens with Baker Mayfield? And then it's like Jimmy's kind of going to be like the last domino to fall. So there's a lot of different things that need to happen. If Watson chooses New Orleans and the Browns, which it seems like he's going to move on. If they're going to move on from him and trade him maybe to the Colts, then obviously that opens up a door for Jimmy. And I think he fits in good with what the Browns have going on.
It's like a game of 3-card Monty right now. It's hard to keep up. I don't know. But yeah, if this guy and then okay. I can see that. I have a final question for you, and then we'll answer some questions. Eric, what would Colin Kaepernick have to do to get back in the NFL? I ask because it seems like he's wants back in the NFL. He's posting videos. He's showing that he's in shape. He's showing himself throwing. I have a feeling that alone isn't going to get it done. What do you think he would actually have to do to pull this off?
Man, just somebody just believe in them. Like, I was listening to some people in Spaces talking about it. And, a team like Detroit Lions, a team that needs to sell tickets. And, obviously there was this bad aura about Colin Kaepernick because of the whole thing, not for me, but, from certain people that buy NFL tickets and the owners, right? But I think right now, if say a team, a city like Detroit got him, they would embrace him. And all right, like now you can kind of battle it out with Jared Goff, who we don't know what exactly he is, and they need to sell tickets. I think it would have to be a team like that needs that extra kind of boost to help their organization.
What about Seattle?
Somebody said apologize. Apologize for what?
No. That wouldn't do it. No, here's what I would do if I was not if I were him, but if I were advising him, if he wanted my opinion, I would say, I said he should have done this years ago, but he should have played in the CFL. I think if he went to the CFL, those games would be on ESPN. He's huge. Like he wouldn't be playing in front of no one. It would be national news. He'd be in the CFL and he would show because the NFL keeps trying to say stuff about him. Like he doesn't really want to play football. He wants to be a martyr. He wants to be a social justice warrior. Like go play football, go play in Canada, make the point that they're blackballing you, tear it up in Canada. And then essentially you're shaming the NFL into bringing you back. It's like, why am I over here? I'm really good. I want to play football. I'm playing football. You're blackballing me. It's wrong what America's doing. Canada's opening their doors to me. He would totally shame the NFL into bending to his will. It might be a little late to do it now, but it's like Warren Moon started his career in the CFL. Like people take note. I think his problem is that he's focused. I need to be in the NFL, and the NFL is like, oh, you want to be in our league? You want to be in our league? No, But if he went somewhere else and was bringing ratings and money to the CFL and shame to the NFL, it'd be over in a half a season. Half a season. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Cool. Well, one CFL, and I don't know how it would work for Colin Kaepernick, but it's hard. A lot of times they sign you to this contract that you can't get out of. Now, maybe
True.
Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, excuse me. Maybe he should be there, but maybe Colin Kaepernick, it would be a little different because maybe he can like write his own contract and how he wants it structured. Yeah. But nah, dude, I wouldn't go if I was him. I know most people, they say that, oh, if he wants to play football, he'd do that. Like, dude, of course I want to play football, but that's not the end all be all to who I am. I think some people let football kind of like define who they are. Colin Kaepernick clearly hasn't. Yes, I love football, but I'm doing these different things. I got contracts with Nike. I'm making a bunch of money. Like, I don't have to play football, even if I love it and I want to, and I feel like I should. And clearly the NFL, who blackballed him and had to pay him money for lost wages with that whole thing that happened. Like, clearly he's someone that can play. So it's like, I could play in the league, but if they want to try me like this, I don't have to go to another league. I'm good. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to play football.
No, I'm with you. He doesn't want to play football. I just think it'd be a really interesting way to get leverage. As soon as he were to play somewhere else, the ratings for that league would go crazy. They'd make a lot of money, and Colin would be able to show, like, what are you doing, NFL? Like, what's happening there is racist and wrong. I want to play football. You won't let me. Canada will let me. Like, it would put so much shame and pressure on him. Like, just sitting back and throwing and videotaping doesn't really put the same amount of pressure. But it's up to what Colin wants to do. Like, if Colin really, 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 really wanted this, he could do that. I think what you laid it out, like, he has other things he can do in his life. And if he doesn't have football on his terms, maybe that's not for him. That's fine.
Right. He's not someone that is like, dang, this is it. Remember, I talked about guys that ain't made no money.
And all be all. Yep.
And it's like, dang, I got every opportunity. I gotta take it. And Kyle's like, not Kyle, Colin, I love football. I would love to play. He stayed in shape. Like, to me, as soon as I was done, like a year later, like, I'm out of shape. Like, I can't play.
Yes.
He stayed in shape for several years.
Yes.
Arm still looks good. Throws still have pop. Like, if he literally didn't want to play football, like, he would look like I look right now.
Yeah. He's our age. He's older than me.
Yeah. He's 30. I'm 34. He's 34.
I'm 34.
Like, he's clearly he wants to play, but he doesn't have to sell his soul to play. And I think that's where he's at with it. Like, it's like everybody wants him to go off and do all these wild things. Like, what? Like, no, I don't have to sell my soul for this. I belong in the NFL. I know I can play in the NFL. I'll stay in shape in case that comes. But if it doesn't, I bet he'll be happy with all the decisions that he's made in his life. He'd be more than happy with it.
I agree. And this clearly he doesn't want to go play in CFL. And I guess I was suggesting that not as like a get your life back on track. His life is good. It's like, dude, you want to stick it to the league? That's how you do it. Go play in another league. Go play. Because if you're in another league, all of a sudden that's a competitor to the NFL. No one's watching CFL. I've never watched a Canadian Football League game. If Colin Kaepernick was playing, I would watch every single game he was playing. Every single one. It would be huge. It would be the biggest story. It'd be like Muhammad Ali coming back, but not being allowed to play, to fight, and having to fight. Like, it would be crazy. I think it'd be so tight. I want to see Kaepernick play again, man. Colin, I want to see you play. It's been 5 years. It shouldn't have gone this long. It's wrong.
Again, you guys got in the comments. You guys got shut down that, like, he has no interest in playing again. Clearly, he has interest, but he's not willing to sell his soul. Everybody wants Colin Kaepernick to sell his soul to play in the NFL and bow down to the masters of the NFL owners, and he's not gonna do that.
I don't want that.
I mean, but that's what people like. They don't think because he isn't like kissing ass or apologizing to them. Like, no, like, I'm not doing that.
No, don't do that. Go to Canada.
I don't do that. That does not mean that I don't want to play football.
Nah, spit in their eye. Spit in their eye. Go to Canada and win all the Grey Cups, all the MVPs. But you don't got to do that either. I'm just saying it would be so freaking cool if he did, though. It'd be so cool. Oh, I can't play it. All right, man. I'm gonna go make the CFL a thing. Good luck. That'd be so damn cool. Anyway, he won't. Warren Moon did it. Jeff Garcia did it. Doug Flutie did it. Damn. Anyway, it's too bad that we're not going to see him again because he is a lot better than a lot of quarterbacks in this damn. Like Nate Sudfeld, are you kidding? Who's going to be the quarterback for the Seahawks this year? Is he going to be as good as Colin Kaepernick? Man, oh well. Sorry. I tried. I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to be on Colin's team on this one. I'm just trying to get him back in the league.
I don't think he's playing in the NFL again, but yeah, I mean, I get the question.
Yeah. Are Niner fans spoiled and expect too much? Hell yeah. That's what. Hell yeah. In a good way, though. What do you think?
I think there is a scenario. No, I don't. I mean, I think all fan bases are like that. We just see it more because we're, directly tied in with the 49ers.
Jay Rico says Dwayne Johnson's XFL is collaborating with the NFL. Trade Jimbo to the XFL and let's get our money back and never, ever have to see him again. Boom, win. I like it. Trade him to the minor leagues. So we're getting
Jimmy Garoppolo is an NFL quarterback.
When do y'all think the Super Bowl window closes?
It starts to get tight after your quarterback's rookie contract.
There it is. So honestly, they got a golden opportunity the next 3 years. And they wasted one last year, but they got 3 more. Don't waste another one. That's 50%.
They wasted it because that year was supposed to prepare you for the next 3 years.
That's right. This dude says brick by brick, by deceit, by secrets, by double standards. 49ers brass seeks high character, loyal team first players, but then creeps behind the scenes like TLC. It's true. They were creeping with Deshaun Watson. Didn't want anyone to know about it. Oh, well. It's better than, I guess, what they did 10 years ago. They didn't give a damn 10 years ago. I think there's a couple more questions and then we'll be done. Eugene, thank you. That might have been it. Hold on. No, there's more. Let me go find the angry comments about Colin Kaepernick. I'm just trying to help everyone. Damn. People get so worked up about him. Just a sec. Why did I miss it?
Yeah, they get worked up. I mean, it's a
Sean Shepard says he stopped to talk Bravo for Cap. I really believe in what he stands for, but that guy is never going to play football again. And when he last played, he looked like McGlinchey got punked. Man, that team he was on sucked so much. It sucked so much, the 2016 Niners. And his honestly, hold on. I'm not a big Kaepernick guy. And he was terrible under Tom Sula, but it was freaking Tom Sula. Then the next year, it was the worst Niners team I've ever seen. And his TD to INT ratio was 4-1. Dude, Jimmy plays with Deebo, Kittle, everyone. And he can't even get to 2-1. So I would have to. I still feel like Colin got screwed over.
The 49ers had a mass exodus. They lost any and every person that was important to their championship runs in those years with Harbaugh. Like they lost any and everyone, including coaches.
Yeah.
They started off, I mean, essentially as a new team to the NFL, expansion team.
Yes.
Essentially it was that. And it's like, oh, Kaepernick doesn't look good. He can't play. Like, look at this team. Chip Kelly comes over. Like, it's the worst 49er team we've ever seen. His weapon, his running back was Sean Drawn and Harry, number 32, whoever he was. And I think they even brought in Pierre Thomas at one point. And his receivers were guys like
Jeremy Curley.
Jeremy Curley was his best receiver, who was clearly a number 4 or number 3. I mean, some dude named Streeter. Like, what do we like? But
Rod Streeter, Quentin Patton. I know it's terrible. And like, it was interesting. Like, everyone loves Jimmy Garoppolo because he wins, even though his numbers are not good. But then everyone holds, Colin Kaepernick's record against him, even though that's a team stat, and they don't look at the fact that his TD to INT ratio in his final season on a bad team was 4-1. Jimmy could never do that, ever. He could never do that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's worth talking about. I still think that Colin was a better quarterback than Jimmy. I feel that way. Jimmy can't move. Jimmy played in a really good team with some really good coaches and players, and his numbers were
the best. He had one of the best offensive mind coaches in the league. He has a plethora of weapons at his disposal, and even then, he struggled to score a point in the Packers playoff game when Colin Kaepernick went to that same place in the playoffs and led the 49ers to victory with his arm, with his legs, whatever, in 0-degree weather with no sleeves on. Stop playing with Colin Kaepernick, man.
Stop playing with Colin Kaepernick. Thank you. See, I'm glad I'm talking about him today, because what happens is you bring him up on YouTube, people get mad, you get downvoted, and it's really not worth your while, but it's worth it. I want to talk about him. He's our age. This has gone on way too long. When it first happened, I was like, you know what? The NFL's right. Colin Kaepernick, he's a distraction. It's like 5 years later. This is still going on? It's disgusting. How many teams could have brought him in and won more games than they did? the fact that the Niners are gonna, I mean, I don't think he would even come back to the Niners as a backup, but Nate Sudfeld and not Colin, like what? Are you kidding?
I mean, I get it from the standpoint of like Colin's out the league, and that's how I view it too. He is not an NFL quarterback. Like I view it that way. Like he's not in the league. I don't expect him to play again. But if we're arguing that, like, well, this and that, like I think people are kind of, nah.
Yeah. Joshua Wyatt says, would you trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Cameron Jordan, then move Armstead permanently inside? Cameron Jordan's a good player. I hadn't thought about that. I don't think you're going to get Cameron Jordan, though, for Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, the Saints are under the cap. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think my screen froze. It kind of like threw me off.
So, yeah, you're coming back, though.
All right.
Yeah. What do you think? Jimmy for hold on, what was it? Jimmy for hold on. I'm tripping. Cameron Jordan.
Yeah, I'm all for defensive line. You know, I think that's the best defensive back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you do something where you can bring in some D line to help that pass rush, I'm all for it.
Timothy says, by Kyle's logic, wouldn't Trey give the Niners the best chance to win over Watson or anyone else because he has been in the system for a year?
Nah, I mean, no. There, to some extent, I get the experience factor of it, but again, he still hasn't played, and that's the best experience.
Michael Duran incorrectly says that it was a mass exodus because Cap stole Alden's girlfriend. It was a mass exodus because Jim Tomsula became the head coach, and none of the players knew who that was other than the people on the D-line. So they were like, you know what? We're out. That's what happened. Official BNA Music 88 says, folks expect Cap to win with Jeremy Curley, but they give Jimmy Garoppolo a pass, and he had Kittle, Deebo, and Ayuk. We know what it is. Period. Have some self-awareness. Croc, Cap was a vegan diet, skinny, not string. Okay. All right. Let's freaking go, Croc, says Niner Cali boy. All right.
You know, Cap from the 209. So, you know, I got, you know.
He's from Sherlock's 209?
Yeah.
That's cool. I remember I played a soccer tournament in Turlock when I was like 11. And I thought it smelled like cows.
It probably did. It's like one exit.
It smells like Davis, California. Anyway, we're going to get out of here before we get any more angry Colin Kaepernick comments. Thanks for bearing with us. I thought it was a good conversation. I thought it was a hell of a show. Thanks.
Yeah, I love everybody, man. I love everybody. So, you know, I love everybody.
Moisha says Cap's output transcends football and people get triggered by that. He doesn't need to play. He's a legend for reasons greater than football. I respect it. I definitely do. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back later on with Jason Aponte. See you.